Question 1. A network engineer configures an interface with switch port security violation restrict. What happens when a violating MAC address is detected? A. The port goes air disabled. B. The violating frames are dropped and a log/SNMP trap is generated. C. The MAC address is added dynamically to the secure table. D. The switch shuts down VLAN access. Answer: B. Restrict drops offending traffic, increments violation counters, and can send SNMP/syslog alerts. Shutdown causes air disabled. Protect silently drops traffic with no alerts. Question 2. Which STP port state receives BPDUs but does not learn MAC addresses? A. Forwarding. B. Blocking. C. Listening. D. Learning. Answer: C. Listening receives BPDUs and participates in topology decisions, but does not learn MAC addresses. Learning begins populating the MAC table. Question 3. A router receives packet 172.16.33.10 and has these routes: 172.16.0.0/16 172.16.32.0/2172.16.32.0/24. Which route is selected? A. 172.16.0.0/16. B. 172.16.32.0/20. C. 172.16.32.0/24. D. Equal cost load balancing occurs. Answer: B. Longest prefix wins. 172.16.33.10 falls within 172.16.32.0/20, range 172.16.32, 47. It does not match 172.16.32.0/24. Question 4. Which OSPF packet type elects DR/BDR? A. LSU. B. DBD. C. Hello. D. LSR. Answer: C. Hello packets handle neighbor discovery and DR/BDR election. Question 5. Which command prevents DTP negotiation on a switch port? A. Switch port mode access. B. Switch port non-negotiate. C. No DTP enable. D. Spanning tree pour fast. Answer: B. Switch port non-negotiate disables DTP frames. Question 6. What occurs if native VLANs mismatch on an 802.1q trunk? A. Trunk fails to form. B. Traffic may leak into the wrong VLAN. C. STP disables the trunk automatically. D. DTP renegotiates native VLAN. Answer: B. Untagged native VLAN traffic may be misclassified, causing VLAN leakage. Question 7. Which IPv6 address is link local? A. 2001 DB81. B. FA81. C. FF021. D. FC001. Answer: B. FE80:10 equals link local. Question 8. What is the default administrative distance of OSPF? A. 90. B. 110. C. 120. D. 115. Answer: B. OSPF AD equals 110. Question 9. Which EtherChannel protocol is Cisco proprietary? A. LCP. B. PGP. C. 802.1x. D. UDLD. Answer: B. PGP equals Cisco proprietary. LCP equals open standard. Question 10. Which NT type allows multiple hosts to share one public IP using ports? A. Static NT. B. Dynamic NT. C. PAT. D. Policy NT. Answer: C. PAT-NAT overload. Translates many inside hosts using layer 4 ports. Question 11. Which ACL is processed top-down and stops at first match? A. Standard only. B. Extended only. C. Numbered only. D. All Cisco ACLs. Answer: D. All ACLs process sequentially top-down and stop at first match. Question 12. Which wireless architecture places control logic on access points instead of centralized controllers? A. Split MAC. B. Lightweight. C. Autonomous. D. CAPWAP. Answer: C. Autonomous APs manage themselves. Lightweight uses controllers. Question 13. Which protocol maps IPv6 addresses to MAC addresses? A. ARP. B. RRP. C. EndP. D. ICMP redirect. Answer: C. IPv6 uses EndP instead of ARP. Question 14. What is the purpose of BPDU guard? A. Prevent loops on root bridge. B. Disable portfast ports receiving BPDUs. C. Change root bridge priority. D. Filter VLAN traffic. Answer: B. If a portfast port receives a BPDU, BPDU guard shuts it down. Question 15. Which command verifies SSH version configured on Cisco iOS? A. Show SSH. B. Show IP SSH. C. Show crypto SSH. D. Show run SSH. Answer: B. Show IP SSH shows SSH version and parameters. Question 16. Which subnet includes 192.168.10.190/26? A. 192.168.10.128/26. B. 192.168.10.64/26. C. 192.168.10.192/26. D. 192.168.10.0/26. Answer: A. /26 blocks equals 64. Ranges: 0 to 63, 64 to 127, 128 to 191, 192 to 255, 190 falls in 128 to 191. Question 17. Which OSPF state indicates routers exchanged LSDB summaries but are not fully adjacent yet? A. Init. B. Two-way. C. Xstart. D. Exchange. Answer: D. Exchange equals DBD summaries exchanged, not fully synchronized yet. Question 18. Which command makes a switch the STP root primary? A. Spanning tree root primary. B. Spanning tree VLAN 1 priority 0. C. Spanning tree root bridge primary. D. Spanning tree VLAN 1 root primary. Answer: D. Cisco shortcut command, spanning tree VLAN 1 root primary. Question 19. A switch learns a MAC on FA0/5 and later sees same MAC on FA0/8. What happens? A. MAC flapping occurs and CM updates. B. Port security disables switch. C. ARP clears table. D. Switch reboots STP. Answer: A. Switch updates CM table to newest port. This may indicate flapping. Question 20. Which transport protocol does SNMP use? A. TCP 161. B. UDP 161. C. TCP 443. D. UDP 22. Answer: B. SNMP uses UDP 161. Traps use UDP 162. Question 21. Which HSRP state forwards virtual gateway traffic? A. Listen. B. Speak. C. Active. D. Standby. Answer: C. Active router forwards traffic. Question 22. Which layer of the TCP/IP model handles end-to-end reliability? A. Internet. B. Network access. C. Application. D. Transport. Answer: D. Transport layer, TCP, provides reliability. Question 23. Which command verifies CDP neighbors? A. Show CDP. B. Show CDP interface. C. Show CDP neighbors. D. Show discovery neighbors. Answer: C. Show CDP neighbors displays adjacent Cisco devices. Question 24. What does IP DHCP snooping trust do? A. Blocks DHCP offers. B. Allows DHCP server replies on interface. C. Disables DHCP relay. D. Encrypts DHCP traffic. Answer: B. Trusted ports can receive DHCP offers/ACKs, typically uplinks. Question 25. Which statement about floating static routes is true? A. They have lower AD than dynamic routes. B. They are always preferred over OSPF. C. They use higher AD so they act as backup routes. D. They require BGP to function. Answer: C. Floating static routes have higher AD than primary routes, so they activate only if the primary route fails. Question 26. A switch receives superior BPDUs on its root port. What occurs first? A. Root port immediately transitions to forwarding. B. Root bridge election restarts and port roles may recalculate. C. CM table is flushed before recalculation. D. EtherChannel renegotiation begins. Answer: B. A superior BPDU triggers STP recalculation. Port roles may change. CAM flushing can occur later depending on topology changes. Question 27. Which route is preferred? OSPF route, AD110, metric 5 EGRP route, AD90, metric 5000 static route, AD1, metric irrelevant. A. OSPF. B. iGroup. C. Static. D. Lowest metric wins. Answer: C. Administrative distance is considered before metrics. Static, AD1, wins. Question 28. A trunk is configured. Switch port trunk allowed VLAN 10, 20 switch port trunk native VLAN 20. What happens to VLAN 20 traffic? A. Tagged only. B. Untagged when native. C. Blocked due to overlap. D. Converted to VLAN 1. Answer: B. Native VLAN traffic is sent untagged, even if it is also in allowed VLANs. Question 29. What happens if both ends of an EtherChannel use LCP passive? A. Forms successfully. B. Forms only if trunking enabled. C. Does not form. D. Falls back to PHP. Answer: C. Passive waits. Passive plus passive equals no negotiation. Question 30. Which OSPF network type elects DR/BDR by default? A. Point-to-point. B. Broadcast. C. Point-to-multipoint. D. Loopback. Answer: B. Broadcast networks, Ethernet, elect DR/BDR. Question 31. A router receives packet TTL equals 1. What happens after forwarding decision? A. Forward normally. B. Decrement to 0, drop packet, send ICMP time exceeded. C. Reset TTL to default. D. Send ARP request. Answer: B. TTL reaches 0 after decrement. Router drops it and sends ICMP. Question 32. Which statement about switch port security MAC address sticky is true? A. Only static MACs allowed. B. Learns MACs dynamically and adds them to running config. C. Disables violations. D. Works only with trunk ports. Answer: B. Sticky learns dynamically and writes secure MACs into running config. Question 33. Which IPv6 address can never be routed beyond local segment? A. Global unicast. B. Unique local. C. Link local. D. Anycast. Answer: C. Link local FE80:10 is never routed. Question 34. A switch has root bridge priority 32768. Another switch configured, spanning tree VLAN 1 priority 28672, which becomes root. A. Original switch. B. New switch. C. Lower MAC decides first. D. Election fails. Answer: B. Lower priority wins. 28,672 beats 32768. Question 35. Which causes OSPF neighbors to remain stuck in Xstart? A. MDU mismatch. B. Missing default route. C. ACL deny IP any. D. VLAN pruning. Answer: A. Classic Cisco trick. Xstart stuck often equals MDU mismatch. Question 36. Which ACL entry matches host 10.1.1.130 using wildcard mask? A. 10.1.1.1300.0.0.0. B. 10.1.1.1282555.255.255.0. C. 10.1.1.130.255.255.255.255. D. 10.1.1.1300.0.0.0.255. Answer: A. Single host wildcard equals 0.0.0.0. Question 37. What happens if native VLAN mismatch exists and CDP enabled? A. CDP may generate mismatch warning. B. Trunk automatically corrects mismatch. C. DTP disables trunk. D. VLANs synchronize automatically. Answer: A. CDP can detect and warn about native VLAN mismatch. Question 38. Which command verifies HSRP state? A. Show standby brief. B. Show HSRP neighbors. C. Show FHRP state. D. Show virtual gateway. Answer: A. Show standby brief is correct. Question 39. A packet destined to unknown MAC arrives on switch. Switch behavior. A. Drops frame. B. Floods out all ports in VLAN except incoming. C. Sends to root bridge only. D. Sends to default gateway. Answer: B. Unknown unicast flooding. Question 40. Which NT translation persists permanently? A. PAT. B. Dynamic NT. C. Static NAT. D. Overload NAT. Answer: C. Static NT mappings remain until removed. Question 41. A static route. IP route 0.0.0.0.0.0.010.1.1.1200. What makes it floating? A. Default route. B. Next hop IP. C. AD200. D. /0 mask. Answer: C. High AD makes it backup route. Question 42. Which protocol uses multicast 224.0.0.5? A. IGRP. B. OSPF. C. RIP. D. HSRP. Answer: B. 224.0.0.5 equals OSPF. All SPF routers. Question 43. Which two conditions must match for OSPF neighbors to form? A. Area ID and hello/dead timers. B. Router ID and bandwidth. C. Cost and hostname. D. MDU and default route. Answer: A. Classic neighbor requirements. Question 44. Which DHCP message is sent first by client? A. Offer. B. Request. C. Discover. D. ACK. Answer C. DORA. Discover Offer Request ACK. Question 45. Which command shows MAC address table? A. Show ARP. B. Show MAC address table. C. Show switching. D. Show interfaces MAC. Answer B. Standard Cisco command. Question 46. Which route has longest prefix match? 10.0.0.0/810.1.0.0/1610.1.1.0/24 destination equals 10.1.1.200. A/8. B/16. C/24. D. Equal cost. Answer C. Longest prefix wins. Question 47. What is true about switch port mode dynamic auto? A. Forces trunk. B. Passive DTP mode. C. Disables DTP. D. Creates access port permanently. Answer B. Dynamic auto waits for negotiation. Question 48. Which attack does DHCP snooping help prevent? A. Rogue DHCP server. B. VLAN hopping. C. MAC flooding. D. BPDU spoofing. Answer A. DHCP snooping blocks rogue DHCP offers. Question 49. A switch receives two equal cost layer 2 paths. Which STP rule determines designated port? A. Lowest bandwidth. B. Lowest route path cost. C. Highest MAC. D. Lowest VLAN ID. Answer B. Designated port uses lowest route path cost. Question 50. A packet destined for 192.168.1.255 is what type? A. Directed broadcast. B. Limited broadcast. C. Multicast. D. Loopback. Answer A. Directed broadcast targets a specific subnet broadcast. Question 51. Users in VLAN 20 cannot reach the default gateway. You verify. Access ports are in VLAN 20 trunk allows VLAN 20 SVI exists. Interface VLAN 20 IP address 10.20.20.255.255.255.0 shutdown. What is root cause? A. VLAN mismatch. B. Incorrect subnet mask. C. SVI administratively down. D. Trunking failure. Answer C. Shutdown disables the SVI. Classic Cisco trap. Question 52. Two switches connected via EtherChannel, SW1, Channel Group 1 mode active SW2, Channel Group 1 mode on. Why does EtherChannel fail? A. Active requires passive/active, not on. B. LACP and static modes mismatch. C. VLAN mismatch. D. Port security conflict. Answer B. Active equals LCP. On equals static. Mismatch prevents bundle formation. Question 53. OSPF neighbors stuck in it. Which is most likely? A. Duplicate router ID. B. Hello packets received one way only. C. MTU mismatch. D. Area mismatch after full state. Answer B. Init means receiving hellos, but your own router ID is not seen in neighbor's hello. Question 54. Hosts can ping local subnet, but not remote networks. Routing table shows gateway of last resort is not set. Likely cause. A. Missing default route. B. ARP poisoning. C. STP loop. D. Native VLAN mismatch. Answer A. Without default route, remote traffic dies. Question 55. A switch suddenly has extremely high CPU and CM instability. Likely attack. A. VLAN hopping. B. DHCP starvation. C. MAC flooding. D. D. BPDU spoofing. Answer: C. CM overflow attack causes flooding and CPU issues. Question 56. OSPF adjacency will fail if which mismatch exists? A. Router host name. B. MDU. C. Interface description. D. iOS version. Answer: B. MDU mismatch often prevents full adjacency. Question 57. Hosts receive APIP addresses 169.254.x.x. Most likely cause: A. Duplicate IP conflict. B. DHCP failure. C. Incorrect DNS server. D. Trunk native VLAN mismatch. Answer: B. APIPA means DHCP failed. Question 58. An engineer configures access list 10 deny 10.1.1.5 access list 10 permit any result. A. Invalid ACL syntax. B. Host denied, others permitted. C. Entire subnet denied. D. ACL ignored. Answer: B. Standard ACL works top-down. Question 59. Users report intermittent duplicate packets in switched network. Most likely cause: A. STP disabled creating loop. B. DHCP snooping issue. C. Port fast enabled. D. OSPF passive interface. Answer: A. Layer 2 loop equals duplicate frames / broadcast storms. Question 60. A router has OSPF route AD110 static route AD1 floating static AD200 OSPF fails. Which route installs next? A. Floating static. B. No route. C. Static AD1. D. Both. Answer: C. Primary static still preferred over floating. Question 61. Inter-VLAN routing fails using router on a stick. Subinterface shows encapsulation.1Q10 IP address 10.10.10.1255.255.255.0 switch trunk native VLAN equals 10. Problem: A. IP incorrect. B. Native VLAN should use encapsulation.1Q10 native. C. OSPF missing. D. Need HSRP. Answer: B. If VLAN 10 is native, subinterface must match native. Question 62. What happens if BPDU guard triggers? A. Port goes listening. B. Port air disabled. C. Port becomes root port. D. Port changes VLAN. Answer: B. BPDU guard shuts port down. Question 63. Ping works by IP, not hostname. Likely issue: A. DHCP. B. DNS. C. STP. D. NAT. Answer: B. Classic name resolution issue. Question 64. OSPF neighbors full, but routes not exchanged. Most likely: A. Passive interface. B. Duplicate MAC. C. Port security. D. ARP timeout. Answer: A. Passive interface suppresses advertisements. Question 65. A trunk passes VLAN 10 and 20. VLAN 30 suddenly fails. Why? A. VLAN 30 not allowed on trunk. B. Native VLAN issue. C. DTP failure. D. CDP disabled. Answer: A. Classic allowed VLAN omission. Question 66. Users lose connectivity after rogue switch plugged into access port. Best protection: A. DHCP snooping. B. Port security plus BPDU guard. C. NT overload. D. HSRP. Answer: B. Protects against rogue switches. Question 67. Traceroute stops at hop 4. Likely device at hop 4 did what? A. Blocked ARP. B. TTL expired, sent ICMP. C. Disabled OSPF. D. Changed VLAN. Answer: B. Traceroute depends on TTL expiration. Question 68. A switch receives superior BPDU unexpectedly on access port. Indicates: A. Rogue switch likely connected. B. DHCP starvation. C. OSPF issue. D. EtherChannel mismatch. Answer: A. Huge exam favorite. Question 69. Users can browse internet, but internal private server unreachable after NT configured. Likely cause: A. NT translation affecting internal traffic. B. OSPF hello mismatch. C. Port security violation. D. CDP disabled. Answer: A. Bad NT often breaks inside traffic. Question 70. LACP bundle forms but traffic black holes. Most likely: A. MDU mismatch across bundled links. B. ACL logging enabled. C. CDP disabled. D. Router ID mismatch. Answer: A. Hidden EtherChannel killer. Question 71. Which issue causes OSPF neighbors stuck two-way on Ethernet when full expected? A. Both routers Dr. B. Router priority 0 on druther relationship. C. ACL deny. D. Wrong MAC address. Answer: B. Druthers remain two-way with each other. Question 72. Host sends frame to remote network destination. First layer 2 destination is: A. Final remote host MAC. B. Default gateway MAC. C. Broadcast MAC. D. Root bridge MAC. Answer: B. Huge Cisco favorite. Question 73. UC %CDP4 native _VLAN mismatch immediate risk. A. Routing loop. B. VLAN leakage. C. OSPF failure. D. DHCP starvation. Answer: B. Native mismatch can leak traffic. Question 74. An ACL intended to block telnet is applied outbound instead of inbound. Result: A. ACL ignored. B. Telnet may still enter network. C. Router reloads ACL. D. Traffic encrypted. Answer: B. Direction matters. Classic exam trap. Question 75. Network converges slowly after link failure. Most likely layer 2 cause: A. High STP timers. B. DNS failure. C. DHCP relay issue. D. Port security aging. Answer: A. Default STP convergence can be slow unless using RSTP. Question 76. A switch has this configuration: switch port mode dynamic desirable switch port non-negotiate. What is the effect? A. The port actively negotiates trunking. B. DTP frames are suppressed despite desirable mode. C. The port becomes access by default. D. The switch falls back to dynamic auto. Answer: B. Switch port non-negotiate suppresses DTP frames, even if the mode is set to dynamic desirable. This is a subtle contradiction Cisco likes to test. Question 77. Which IPv6 address can be assigned to multiple interfaces on different devices to reach the nearest instance? A. Link local. B. Multicast. C. Anycast. D. Unique local. Answer: C. Anycast uses the same address on multiple devices. Routing delivers to the nearest instance. Question 78. A route learned via OSPF has metric 20. A second OSPF route to same prefix has metric 20 from another next hop. What happens? A. Lower router ID wins. B. Lower next hop IP wins. C. Equal cost load balancing may occur. D. First learned route remains only. Answer: C. Equal cost OSPF routes can be installed for ECMP. Question 79. Which command prevents an access port from becoming a trunk if a rogue switch sends DTP? A. Switch port mode access. B. Switch port non-negotiate. C. Spanning tree duggard enable. D. IP DHCP snooping trust. Answer: A. Forcing switch port mode access prevents trunk formation. Non-negotiate suppresses DTP but does not itself force access mode. Question 80. A router receives a packet for 10.10.10.10.10 and has 10.10.10.0/24 via OSPF 10.10.10.0/24 via static AD200. Which route is used? A. Static because manually configured. B. OSPF due to lower AD. C. Equal cost load balancing. D. Longest prefix tie causes drop. Answer: B. Same prefix length, so administrative distance decides. OSPF 110 beats static 200. Question 81. Which condition can cause a port-fast-enabled access port to be unsafe? A. Connected to a printer. B. Connected to an end host. C. Connected to another switch. D. Connected to a phone. Answer: C. Port-fast on a switch-to-switch link can introduce loops. Question 82. What does OSPF use as metric? A. Delay. B. Hop count. C. Cost based on bandwidth. D. Composite metric. Answer: C. OSPF uses cost, commonly derived from bandwidth. Question 83. Which wildcard matches subnet 192.168.8.0/21? A. 0.0.7.255. B. 0.0.3.255. C. 255.255.248.0. D. 0.0.15.255. Answer: A. /21 mask equals 255.255.248.0 wildcard inverse equals 0.0.7.255. Question 84. An interface shows administratively down, line protocol down. Most likely cause: A. Cable unplugged. B. Interface shutdown command applied. C. Speed mismatch. D. Encapsulation mismatch. Answer: B. Administratively down means manually shut. Question 85. Which HSRP router answers ARP for the virtual IP? A. Standby only. B. Active router. C. Both active and standby. D. Router with highest interface IP. Answer: B. The active router owns the virtual MAC/IP response. Question 86. Which statement about IP default gateway on a layer 2 switch is true? A. Used only when IP routing disabled. B. Replaces static routes. C. Required for VLAN trunking. D. Used by OSPF. Answer: A. Layer 2 switches use IP default gateway for management reachability when not routing. Question 87. Which feature helps prevent VLAN hopping via double tagging? A. Set and use native VLAN and avoid user ports in native VLAN. B. Enable port fast. C. Disable ARP inspection. D. Use dynamic desirable. Answer: A. Classic mitigation. Question 88. A switch receives a frame destined to its own management SVIMA. C. It processes the frame at A. Layer 1 only. B. Control plane, CPU. C. Root bridge. D. CM aging process. Answer: B. Frames for the switch itself are punted to CPU/control plane. Question 89. Which is true about RSTP compared to classic STP? A. Uses distance vector logic. B. Faster convergence. C. Removes root bridge election. D. Requires no BP dues. Answer: B. RSTP improves convergence significantly. Question 90. A DHCP client receives an IP but wrong default gateway. Most likely issue. A. Option 3 misconfigured on DHCP server. B. TTL expired. C. ARP cache full. D. MTU mismatch. Answer. A. Default gateway is provided via DHCP option 3. Question 91. Which command verifies which switch is root bridge? A. Show spanning tree route. B. Show spanning tree. C. Show VLAN route. D. Show STP bridge. Answer. B. Show spanning tree reveals route information. Question 92. What happens if an ACL has no explicit permit and no matches occur? A. Traffic permitted by default. B. Implicit deny drops traffic. C. Router asks for user confirmation. D. ACL ignored. Answer. B. Implicit deny at end of every ACL. Question 93. Which OSPF state indicates adjacency complete? A. Exchange. B. Xstart. C. Full. D. Init. Answer. C. Full equals LSDB synchronized. Question 94. A switch sees same source MAC moving rapidly between ports. This suggests A. HSRP failover. B. MAC flapping / possible loop. C. DNS issue. D. DHCP relay problem. Answer. B. MAC flapping often points to loops or instability. Question 95. Which address does a host ARP for when sending to remote subnet? A. Remote host IP. B. Remote host MAC. C. Default gateway MAC. D. DNS server MAC. Answer. C. Another classic Cisco favorite. Question 96. What does passive interface do in OSPF? A. Disables sending hellos on interface. B. Deletes interface IP. C. Blocks route installation. D. Removes area assignment. Answer. A. No hellos, no adjacency formed. Question 97. Which command displays learn secure MAC addresses with port security? A. Show port security address. B. Show secure MAC. C. Show switch port MAC security. D. Show MAC sticky. Answer. A. Correct Cisco verification command. Question 98. Which protocol uses protocol number 89, not TCP/UDP port? A. IGRP. B. OSPF. C. SNMP. D. SSH. Answer. B. OSPF uses IP protocol 89. Question 99. A trunk allows VLANs 10, 20, 30. VTP adds VLAN 40 to database. What happens across this trunk? A. VLAN 40 passes automatically. B. VLAN 40 blocked unless allowed on trunk. C. Trunk resets. D. STP disables VLAN 10. Answer. B. Allowed VLAN list still controls forwarding. Question 100. Which issue most likely causes intermittent duplex mismatch symptoms? A. Late collisions and poor performance. B. OSPF stuck in it. C. Native VLAN mismatch logs only. D. DHCP scope exhaustion. Answer. A. Classic duplex mismatch symptom equals late collisions plus slowness. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to the Licensed Mind Drive.